I was 15 and my mom was a single mom on welfare and she didn't ever get housing. So she paid market rents for years and it was the 60s and she ended up having to leave a big city. We went to Alberta. Things got worse for her with depression and we couldn't hold on. We didn't really have that much support and I hit the streets a year after my brother did when I was 15. And it was vulnerable. It was empowering in the sense of having community for the first time, having people who I was hanging with for survival. We helped each other. It was freaky. A lot of people are taking advantage of people who are vulnerable, and I was a teenager, so I had to deal with a lot of that. I'm a survivor of child sexual abuse, survivor of alcohol violence. I'm 53 now. I can see a lot now, but at the time I couldn't. I was pretty survival mode. That there was nowhere for us at the time, and we just helped each other. We couch surfed. I spent 1 year on the streets in Calgary, Alberta, which was hard because of the winter. I was at the Y. A lot of other street youth, we took care of each other. One night we had to stay out because we came in too late, so we had to, in the middle of winter, we're told, sorry, you guys have to stay out because you're late. And we weren't even being rude or violent or anything. We were just kind of happy and a bit silly from drinking. You know, the best way to talk about it would be we're emotionally incapable of dealing with anything, and it was always just about try and get some drugs to get less pain and just get through the day. It was just messy, and it was just like almost like you're in a pinball game. You're the ball getting flicked around and you're trying to take control. I've been near homeless a few times because of the situation where I'm not getting enough support. I was in a very intense housing in View Towers in Victoria. I went down pretty fast. I'm someone who's part of the Committee to End Homelessness. I've been an activist for years. I did activism when I was working. I worked frontline for years. I went to feminism. I got educated. And suddenly I'm on disability. And I went down pretty fast in terms of losing what privileges I kind of had, which was weird because I still had the privilege of community. And I really struggled. I couldn't find anything that I could afford. It didn't matter. We don't have, what I need is social housing. I need 30% of my income going to a space that my daughter and I can live in, having her 40% of the time, and not be left to an SRO with a teenage girl who's going to be a teenager soon, you know what I mean? So what I want us to fight for is the 30% social housing. I want us to be able to, everyone has the right to housing.
I quit my home place when I was 17 because I just couldn't live there anymore. And I left and I went in Joliet for a couple months where I had my own apartment, and then after that I decided to quit that apartment to go in Montreal because I just didn't like it. And in Montreal I was just living at some other people's places for a bit. So I didn't feel like it was that bad, honestly, but it's really because I was at some of my friends' place and that place and here, so I never really slept outside a couple times. But then in Montreal I decided to leave because there's winter and like my friends, like they have their families and roommates and girlfriend, boyfriend and all. So I decided to leave and I left and I came in BC and lived here and there for about 2 years or so. When I arrived, I stayed, I didn't have a tent or anything, I just had a sleeping bag, so I was sleeping outside here and there. In the Okanagan Valley, it's kind of easy because it's not very cold. I was homeless, couch surfing at a friend's place for 2 years in Quebec and 2 years in BC. I met really good people that helped me a lot, and they helped me just kind of, I don't want to say quitting drugs, but they helped me like stopping that and thinking about it. They helped me to set my life, like do something else with my life than just like being around and walking around and doing things. So I went back in Quebec, I started school in social work, and now I'm doing an internship here. And I want to work with homeless from downtown East Side, so that's why I came here. I think the Canadian government should try to think about not just not trying to help people that are homeless clinically, like they are sick and they are but doing it more humanly, like more with heart, with warmth, with like passion. Like they're still human even if they're homeless. So it's not people that because they're mentally ill or because they have addictions or because they have problems that you need to put all of them in little boxes and be like, oh, you need to fit there and fit there. Like being more, the government should put some warmth, some heart into it.
I guess my homelessness started when I was about 13 years old. I'm an addict. My first drink was when I was 5 years old at my uncle's wedding. I saw people having fun and I wanted a piece of that, so I went around and I sampled from tables, and that's where my alcoholism started from. My family, they're all alcoholics, addicts. I would run away to get away from them. I had built up a camp. And from there it just kept growing and growing and growing. I needed to get away, especially from people. I just started not to like people. I just started to isolate myself. So I have been homelessness now for almost 30 some odd, well, 20 some odd years anyways. People would come down to my camp and, you know, try to steal stuff and beat me up. I've had surgery to replace my elbow from people coming down and, you know, looting the crap out of me, saying homeless people, you know, are worthless and stuff like that. Then I had a chance to go to a place called Claire's Home, Addiction and Mental Health, where they assessed me with PSTD, major depression, and I just don't like to be around people because I don't trust people until I start to get to know them. But after Claire's Home, they had found me a place of my own. It's a basement suite, and I really love it. I believe the Canadian government should help to end homelessness by donations. Yeah, they're spending money on stupid stuff. Why not spend money on good things?